Well, hello everyone. My name is Lisa Schuster, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's Lead the Field call with Bob Proctor. We have had some great questions that were submitted in advance. So, Bob, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started right away.
I'm all ready, Lisa. Let's rock it.
All righty.
You know, I've been looking forward to doing these calls on Lead the Field. I love Lead the Field. I absolutely love it. I've been listening to it almost my whole adult life. And, you know, if I were to put my finger on one thing that has changed my life, it's this program. It has the potential to give you everything you want. All you have to do is use it properly. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Perfect. Well, let's take this first question from Shane. And he says, I have missed a few days of the program this week due to a death in my family, but other than that, I have been participating multiple times per day. Still searching, not much happening yet, and not sure why. Any advice?
Well, there's things happening, you just don't see them happening. It's, you know, I don't know if you have used Square. It's a great little book. He says, rely on the unseen forces. And he said, forget the idea that you should be able to see tangibly and in full view all the resources necessary to leverage your performance. There are resources that you can access that cannot be seen, and they are far greater and more powerful than the resources you might readily observe. Evidence of absence is not evidence, no. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Think of an iceberg where you can see only the tip of what's really there. Well, just as real, though out of sight, are invisible resources ready to make a profound difference in what you can achieve. All you have to do is open up and let it in. You see, sometimes maybe we're expecting too much too soon. What we're really working at is shifting our own paradigm, shifting our own way of thinking. And that's what this program is designed to do. And as you do that, as you start to shift it, you're going to see difference in results. It's almost like magic how it happens. You know, I was thinking of a copywriter. He wrote something that I really loved. And I have worked with a number of magicians at conventions where they would have me work in part of their act because I was there and I was working in the convention, so they would get me involved. And when you see how some of these mind-blowing illusions work, they're not so mind-blowing anymore. I mean, I think the biggest problem that a magician has is to really remember that you don't know what they're doing, because what they're doing is so obvious. And when you start working with them and seeing it, it isn't really magic anymore. But when you get working with this stuff and you get it working, that's real magic. Because things start to happen that are mind-boggling. So don't be patient, but still give it everything you've got. Patient is not probably a good word to use here, but you know, give it everything you've got and expect good things to happen. And just keep doing it. Don't let what is happening sway you. You see what you want, and you keep seeing it. And I guarantee it'll start to happen. I've always felt I've enjoyed some pretty ridiculous success in my life. And I've always just thought myself as a very ordinary guy. I don't see myself any different than anybody else. And In fact, I didn't have too much going for me. I had no formal education, I had no business experience. But I just kept studying this and it all happened. And so I've always been totally convinced if I could do this, anybody can do it. If I could earn millions of dollars, anybody can earn millions of dollars. It's a matter of sticking to the program and continually studying. Know that things will get better. See, what you're really doing is changing you. What's the next one there, Lisa?
This next question here is from Patricia, and she says, I am in the middle of fundraising $2 million for my startup, a digital flagship for luxury. I have an A team. My BP is impressive. My tech platform is amazing. Why am I slow in closing?
I think you're the only one that can answer that, Patricia. You really believe what you've got is worth it. You got to get enthusiastic about it. I was mentioning the other day, I'll tell you a good book. Now, this is an old book. It's 1967 I saw. I took it off the shelf and I started to read it. Enthusiasm Makes a Difference by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Dr. Peale was just such a phenomenal speaker. He was a minister at Marble Arch Church, big church. All the stars went there in New York for years. And I've read the book a couple of times, but I came into the studio here just the other day, and I looked up, and that was staring at me, and I knew that I was supposed to pick it up because it was staring at me. And I would suggest you might look it up. It'll be out of print. It's called Enthusiasm Makes the Difference, Norman Vincent Peale, P-A-L-E. It'll be out of print, but you'll be able to get a copy and start to study it and get really enthusiastic about what you're doing. Enthusiasm is the yeast that raises the dough. It really is. And why am I slow in closing? Well, why don't you quit asking that question and say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm closing fast every day. Things are going exactly the way we want. This is a phenomenal opportunity. Okay? Start affirming what you want. See what you want, Patricia. But get this book on enthusiasm. I think everybody should get it. It's so good. Okay?
All right, this next question here is from Stephanie, and she says, I met a phone friend at my first paradigm shift in 2016. I have progressed in my knowledge and actions a great deal, but he hasn't at all. How do I say goodbye to my stymied friendship?
Well, just don't call as often and don't stay as long. And I think probably I'd be very candid with him, Stephanie. And I'd say, quite frankly, if you're not going to grow, I don't want to go where you are. I don't want to go where you're going. So I think maybe we ought to cut these calls off for a while. But I think you'd be doing him a favor if you were very, very candid with him. Lay it on the line. That may shock him into taking a look at what he is doing. You see, you're the exception. He's not. And you've got to really understand that. The number of people that get into this and really win are small in number. Stop and think about it. There's only about 5% of the population that really make it big. And 95% don't. Now, of course, there's probably 10 or 15% of that 95% that do okay, but not as well as they could. And when you're on the right track, you want to do everything to stay on the right track, and don't be hanging around people that aren't going somewhere. It's the way it is, Stephanie. Lay it on the line. Next one.
This next question is from Haria. Haria says, I have lots of goals in various aspects of my life, job, family, etc. How many goal cards can I carry at the same time?
Oh, I don't know. You could probably carry a few hundred of them. Filled your briefcase and your pockets and everything. That's not the point. I want you to look at something where you are right now. Focus on some one thing. If there's a table, focus on the table. Now, I want you to go a distance away from the table and focus on something else. Let's say a chair. So you're on the table, and then you go to the chair. When you're looking at the chair, you forgot the table. And when you're focused on the table, you forgot the chair. You can only focus on one thing at a time, Haria. Just one. You try and focus on two things at once, and you create chaos in your mind. You have not picked the one thing that you want more than anything else. And if you do that, you're going to find all these other things will just fall in place as you're working towards the big one. You've got to really want it. And here's the catch. If you know how to get it, it won't work. It won't qualify. You've got to be going after something you want, and you have no idea how you're going to get it. I was talking to Mary Morrissey earlier today, and I was telling her about Conrad Hilton. You know, the Hilton hotels are pretty big, and they're all over the place, all over the world, really. But they weren't always like that. Conrad Hilton started out in a little motel hotel in Cisco, Texas. Just a raunchy little motel. But he had a big picture behind his desk of the Waldorf Astoria in New York. And he said, I'm going to buy that place one day and I'm going to give it to my mother for her birthday. And you know something? He did. He did. He had no idea how he was going to do it. He didn't have to. He just knew he was going to do it. And that's the way goals are. So you should only have one goal. You could have as many cards as you want. Leave them laying all over the place. But every one of them have the same thing on it. Okay? Next one there, Lisa.
This next question is from Derek, and he says, thank you for the phenomenal program. Do you have any tips on how to let go of the past and overcome the victim mindset?
Well, you're obviously enjoying being a victim if you're holding on to it. I've never seen any compensation for being a victim. So I would just let it go. Start focusing on all the good. You've got a great program. You've just said that. It's a phenomenal program. Thank you for the phenomenal program. You've got it. You've got it, Derek. Love it. Study it. And only see where you're going. That's all you see. You don't let the present results control you. Victims never win. Don't be a victim. Be in control. You be in control of you, Derek. Okay?
This next question is from Gerard. How do you start your day? I seem to struggle to get out of bed in the mornings and like to hit snooze for about an hour.
Well, let's think about it. You're hitting snooze for an hour. Do you know that that is 9 40-hour weeks in a year? 9 40-hour weeks that you're hitting snooze. What a heck of a waste of time and talent. You just make a decision when you wake up, you're going to get up, Gerard. I've always found that the winners start early. I'm up always by 5:30. 5:30 to be late. And that's a great time of the day. Think of this for a moment. Why do you think doctors operate early in the morning? They operate early in the morning because they're the sharpest. Their hand is steady. Their patient is more receptive. Why don't you start early in the morning? And it's a matter of a decision. You just make an irrevocable decision. When I wake up, I get up. The second you are consciously aware that you're awake, put your feet on the floor. Get the hell out of bed. And be proud of yourself for doing it. See, I did it. I did it. You know? And pretty soon it'll be a habit. It'll be part of your life. Like, I don't even have to think about it. It's automatic. It's as automatic as any other habit. It's a habit. Okay? Next one there, Lisa.
Okay. This next one's from Eliza. How do I handle disappointment when I lose a sale and I'm doing everything the lesson says? I think I am changing, but something kicks me in the face. I reacted, and then I am down. I want things to happen faster than they are.
Well, everything that's happening is supposed to happen the way it's happening, Lisa. And that's the way you want to look at it. And understand this. You never lose a sale. Every transaction you look at as a learning experience. It's a learning experience. It's making you a more effective human being. That is really your objective in life, is to become more effective. There's perfection within you. And what you want to do is bring that perfection to the surface in as many areas as you can, as often as you can. Okay?
This next question is from Gania. Hi, Bob. Thanks for all the great work you are doing. My question to you is that if you keep on struggling and you can't get through your blocked energy, is there any quick fix to unblock the energy?
Yeah, quit talking about blocked energy. Quit giving that energy. First of all, nobody's blocked unless they say they're blocked. Nobody's stuck unless they say they're stuck. Say, I'm not stuck and I'm not blocked. I'm moving, baby. Now, let's go. It's an attitude. Go back and listen to the first message. In fact, make up your mind you're going to listen to attitude every day for the next 30 days. I don't care which tape you're on, which recording you're on. You're going to listen to attitude every day for 30 days. See, what you're talking about here is an attitude. I don't like the attitude of being stuck. I think that we've all got greatness, and our objective is to bring it to the surface and help other people do the same thing. Okay?
Okay, this next question is from Sonia. Hi, Bob. I am loving the coaching, but still feel the butterflies and anxiety in the pit of my stomach when I feel any type of work pressure. I have also participated in the Paradigm Shift event as well. Any tips to help me?
Well, the second you start to feel that way, just stop. Say stop. And you might say it right out loud. Say it out loud. Stop. And then permit a calm confidence. It's just like a light moving down through your whole being, starting at the head, and there's a calm confidence coming over you. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm calm and confident. I am so happy and grateful that I'm calm and confident. The second you feel this type of pressure or this feeling in the pit of your stomach or these butterflies, just say stop, right there. Bang, stop. And then let this feeling of calm confidence move through you. See, you've got the ability. There's power flowing to and through you all the time. It never stops. And you can even measure it. You can photograph it. Well, when it flows into you, it has no form. So you're turning it into a calm, confident vibration that you will move into. And you just do that, Sonia, and you do it every day. Whenever you feel this come over, you just say, stop. And then, I don't care if you're on a crowded subway, doesn't matter where you are. And then just close your eyes and let this beautiful feeling move through your whole being. Calm confidence. Okay?
All right, this next question here is from Chantal. I struggled with discipline for years around fitness, food, goals, etc. Then, just like over the past 3 weeks, I am able to just do it every day. Can you help me figure out what happened?
Who cares? Just stay where you're at. Keep going that way. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Something happened to change the paradigm. You've changed. You see, that's a working in your subconscious. You'd be very grateful for that. Just be very grateful. Just have a feeling of gratitude. Wow, what a beautiful way to live, and I've chosen it. Give yourself a pat in the back. That's it.
This next question here is from Amanda, and she says, hello, I have an idea for a book, and I'm finding it hard to keep my mind on it. What is a good way to stay focused?
Get an artist to make your book cover. Hold on 1 minute. 1 minute. Write this phone number down. 602-617-3897. Her name is Patty Knowles. Okay? That's Patty's cell. You phone and tell her I told you to phone. Hire her. Have her do a book cover with the name of your book. And then get it printed and have it all over the place. You'll start working on the book. That's a good way to stay focused. Have the book cover all over the place. Okay?
This next question is from Michael, and he says, my daughter, who is 16, was born with a detached retina, and she lives in a different state. What are some ways I could help her with her retina?
I do not know the answer to that. You could turn this into a project. You're going to figure out how to help her. You're going to figure out how that can be fixed. All things are possible. All things are possible. And that's going to be a project. You're going to figure it out. I don't know the answer to that question. But I do know this. Since you've asked a question, it has to have an answer. That's the flip side of a coin. That's in and out, up and down, hot and cold, question, answer. There is an answer to that. And you make it a project that you're going to figure out what that answer is. There's people that can help you with it. Okay?
This next question is from Marcella. Hi, Marcella from Chile. How can I choose a single topic to work with when I must decide between health and money, especially when they depend on each other, one reciprocally? Thank you.
How can I decide between health and money? You can have both. Why would you decide between them? You're going to remain in a healthy, prosperous vibration. I'm so happy and grateful that I live in a healthy, prosperous vibration. Money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. You don't have to choose one or the other. I don't care if you live in Chile or Chicago, it doesn't matter. Same laws apply everywhere. We're dealing with natural law. They're not man-made, so they're not going to be changed by man. Okay?
This next question is from Andrea. I am a full-time police officer and TIR consultant. How do I stay positive and keep on track with my goal when my current work environment is, by nature, mostly negative?
Change it. Okay, it might be for all other cops, but not for me. I serve and protect. That's a very worthy type of work. And you just make up your mind you're going to turn everything into a positive. You're going to harvest the good in everything. You'd be an extraordinary police officer. And I guarantee other people will pick it up and they'll start doing the same thing. Don't let the fact that for most people, policing is a negative environment. It could be for a lot of people. God, that's true for bankers and lawyers and everybody else, for some people. But you are going to be just like a beacon, a light on a dark night for everybody you come in contact with. You're going to harvest the good. That's all you're going to see. You can do it, Andre, and you know you can. You know what I'm telling you is right. Do it. Starting right now. You don't start tomorrow, right now. Okay?
This next question is from Devin. Hi, Bob. While in public areas, how might we better handle people who seem to be void of any intelligence? I try to ignore them and move on, but sometimes it seems harder to do.
Well, just say a little prayer for them. Just thank God that you're not like them. That's all. Don't judge them. Just be happy that you know a better way. And move on. You say, but sometimes it seems harder to do. Start saying, since I started doing this, it becomes easier and easier all the time.
This next question is from Maha. Is it better to set your goals one by one and focus on it as per priority, or can we set different goals from different areas of our life at the same time?
No, you see, I think, first of all, what you want to understand that self-image and goals are two different subjects. Self-image is how you see you. It's the picture you hold of you. And that would include the people you associate with and how you live. Your goal is a focal point. It's a point that you're working toward. It's a star that you're going to shoot at. So you don't set a whole bunch of goals. You set one goal. And that goal causes you, see, the purpose of a goal is not to get anything. I don't care if it's money or after, cars or houses or whatever, business. The purpose of the goal is to grow. And when you focus on the goal, you're going to grow as a person. That's what it's about. Okay?
This next question is from Ryan. How do you focus on your one goal when there is so much noise around you pulling you back into your daily routines of family life?
Well, why don't you look at it a different way? Now, that's one way of looking at it. Mentally work around to the other side of it and look at it. I find it so easy to focus on my goal when I have my family around and I'm enjoying them at the same time. Don't talk about it as noise. And you can shut all the noise out. You don't have noise. There's things going on, but you stay focused. Mentally work your way around, look at it from another point of view, Ryan. See, the beautiful thing about perception is we can change how we look at anything, and that includes our life. Okay?
This next question is from Juliana. I have goals that I would like to achieve, but I am an introvert and a shy person. How can I believe in myself and be confident?
Man, can I relate to that? See, I was an introvert and a very shy person. I really was. Even after I started to study this. I'm still a bit of a loner. I'm not the most gregarious guy you're ever going to meet. I just made up my mind I was going to change that. And because I made up my mind, that's what I started to do. And you see, you're giving energy to being an introvert. You don't have to become an extrovert, but you can become properly balanced. And people that are shy, it's because they're focused on themselves. Take your mind off yourself and think of the other person or the other people. And you're really focused on them. You see, I want you to think sometimes you'll be with someone and when it's all over, they leave, you leave. You say, man, are they ever interesting? Well, they're interesting because they were interested. I have to tell people in a seminar, I say, some of you are going to leave here and say, that Proctor's the nicest guy. God, he is really a good guy. And you're going to go and tell people that, and you don't even know me. You don't even know me. We may spend 3 days together, 6 days together, and you'll say, wow, was he ever a nice guy? And you don't even know me. I have spent the 3 days or the 6 days talking about you. And if I tell you anything about myself, I tell you the same thing over and over again, just different ways. But I don't talk about me. I'll share a couple of incidents that have happened that helped me move in one direction or another. But you're not interested in me. You're interested in you. And you want to remember that with everybody you're talking to. They're not interested in you. They're interested in themselves. Make them feel important. It's a strange thing. Who was it? I've forgotten which one it was. I think Dale Carnegie or one of them. Visualize people have a great big MMFI on their forehead in red, bold. MMFI. Make me feel important. And that's what you want to do with everybody. Make them feel important. Talk to them about them. How did you start doing that? When did you move here? Why did you move here? Was that scary just to pick up and move? Really, and be interested. Don't do it just for conversation. Really get interested in it. Want to know about them. You'll get over your shyness. I know you can because I did. Next one now, Ms. Lisa.
All right, this next question is from Shane. After finishing Lead the Field last week, I told a man who swindled $269,000 from me 18 years ago that he is forgiven. Do you think that's what's been holding me back financially?
Could be. Very could be. Sure. I've had things like that happen to me. I don't let it bother me. I just let it go. Oh, yeah. Now, telling him he's forgiven and then forgiving him is two different things. You got to really forgive him. Like, let it go. Now, that doesn't mean you're ever going to do business with him again, but you hold no bad feelings. See, if you're holding bad feelings, it's you that's in the bad vibration. He could be out having a great time somewhere. That could have been holding you back, for sure. For sure it could have been. Now that is a huge move, Shane. You say, after finishing Lead the Field last week, I told a man who swindled me out of $269,000. 18 years ago he was forgiven. That's huge. Make sure you do it. Okay.
This next question is from Lorna. When I try to visualize, I often wind up with a headache. How can I get around this? Have you heard of it before?
No. No. I don't think you're getting a headache from visualizing. You might be getting a headache, but it's not from visualizing, so don't connect it to visualizing. And stop thinking about you'll get a headache. I'm so happy and grateful now that my head is clear. I can visualize the good I desire at will. And I do frequently, every day. Okay? Turn them all into positives, Lorna.
All right, that was the end of our PowerPoint questions, but I have a few that were submitted on the question tab, so we can continue forward with those. This question is from Trevor, and he says, I own a business in a small community outside of Toronto. There is another business on our same community in the same industry, and we are always competing for market share. How do I stay in the creative mind as opposed to the competitive mind when trying to increase market share?
Don't compete with them. Forget about them. Don't compete. Amateurs compete. Professionals create. Just come up with better ways to do whatever you're doing. Don't compete with them. Don't give them any thought at all. Your hands are full doing what you do. Okay?
This next question is from Paulina. I'm in the process of opening a real estate agency. I will specialize in property management. I'm not sure how I can find clients. I have fear it will not work.
Then it won't. Quit thinking it won't work, and know it will, and know you're going to attract the clients. You're going to do something bigger and better than anybody's ever done in the field that you're in. You're going to become a great servant. Servant is the greatest. You're just going to do great work.
This next question is from Boris. I was starting my blog in March when a big business opportunity came to me, and I have a feeling I have to take it. Now I am confused. If I start with the new business opportunity and launch my new website, people will be confused. The blog is about starting new life, personal development, and business opportunity is network marketing company. Do I have to choose?
No. You can do them both. I got all kinds of projects on the go. You can only do one thing properly at a time. You can, but you can delegate. There's 3 Ds. Do it, delegate it, or ditch it. Some of the things you think are so important will get done through neglect. They don't have to be done at all. Okay?
This next question statement is from Lyle, and he says, Hi, Bob. This material is phenomenal. Right now, working with a book publisher that I feel is giving us poor service. I have confidence about changing publishers, but I am reacting rather than responding. So grateful for the opportunity to have a greater and greater inspired lifestyle.
If you're not getting the service you want, change. Just change. Should give Peggy McCall a call. She could steer you in the right direction.
This next question is from Madeline. I had understood that when setting your goals, you should start with, I am so happy and grateful now that. However, a lot of time when you talk about things, you also use this start phrase. How does your subconscious distinguish between the goal and positive, or how does your subconscious distinguish between the goal and positive affirmations?
Well, the subconscious doesn't distinguish at all. It just accepts what you give to it. It's like the earth. Think of the subconscious mind like the earth. The earth doesn't care what you plant. Could care less what you plant. You can plant corn. I love what Earl Nightingale said on The Stranger's Secret. You can plant corn, sweet food, or nightshade, a deadly poison. Side by side, one will grow with just as great an abundance as the other. Subconscious mind doesn't think. It just accepts and manifests. It operates by law, takes whatever you give to it.
This next question is from Blazina. I want to be an Oscar-winning actress and happily married too. Can I include it in one affirmation?
Well, you see, unhappily married is probably falls in under the self-image. The Oscar winning is probably a goal. There's a difference. Happily married is how you want to see yourself living. The goal, the Oscar, is an objective that you want to accomplish. And you see, the beautiful truth is you may never win an Oscar, but if you're always working towards one, you're always developing you. And that's what the purpose of a goal is. Some of the greatest actors that have ever lived haven't won an Oscar, but they're always working towards one, so they put out great work. Okay?
This next question is from Shirley. What tips do you have for someone starting out as an insurance agent?
Be in front of a prospect every morning before 9 a.m. Have a breakfast meeting every morning. Every morning. And ask every person to buy. Ask every person to buy. Almost everyone that you'll ever meet is dangerously underinsured. The beautiful part, you can hold up a pen and say, do you know, with a little drop of ink and a few dollars, I could create $1 million estate for you. Boom, just like that. And you can. I think insurance is the greatest idea to ever come down the road. Problem with most people is they don't get in front of people. See, if you're selling insurance, you're on commission. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're not in front of a prospect, you're unemployed. It's that simple. Insurance is one of the highest and lowest professions in the world when it comes to money. One of the highest and lowest paid professions in the world. And it all has to do with habits. Be in front of somebody every morning. Lisa, do you have the copy of The Common Denominator of Success?
I do.
Would you see that it's posted so everybody can get it?
Absolutely.
By the Secretary of Prudential way back in the 30s. It's a phenomenal piece of literature. Common denominator of success is informing the habit of doing things failures don't like to do.
We will see that it's posted. All right, this next question is from Shelley, and she says, I have noticed that I go along quite well making new habits and changing paradigms, and then when the paradigm from the past comes up, all of a sudden, occasionally, they seem more intense. Do you think that is because my awareness is increasing and I notice the huge difference now that I'm shifting? Have you heard of this before? I use my tools to shift right away.
Yeah, that's very common. Almost everybody that's working a shifting paradigm experiences that. See, it takes a while to shift a paradigm. And And they will pop up. The old idea will pop up every now and then. You just don't let it be in control. Say, get out of here.
Ready for the next question?
I'm all ready.
This next question is from Amber. How can I convince a landlord to sell his land? The land that I want to buy since a long time ago is attached to my building. It will give me a greater chance to expand.
Well, see yourself owning it. Be grateful for the fact that you own it. Sandy Gallagher has a beautiful piece of property that she lives on overlooking the ocean. It's a phenomenal piece of property. But the next piece of property, it was really strange the way it was. A good half of the front of her place was somebody else's property. And God, they could build something there and she would have half the view cut off. And the guy was making plans to build a house on it. He had architects working on the plans. She held an image of owning that piece of land. And you know something? She owns that piece of land. See, you've got to see what you want, not what you don't want. It's so simple to focus on what you don't want and say, well, I can't change that because this is the way it is. Everything changes. We live in a constant evolution of change. We live in an ocean of motion. Well, see things happening the way you want. See yourself owning that piece of property. Okay?
This next question is from Mernaz. May I please get your advice on how I can attract high-paying clients that want to pay and start Lead the Field or TIR?
Write it out in positive term. Write it out in a statement in the present tense. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a great clientele that pay me what I ask. I do. They pay me whatever I ask. Well, it didn't happen overnight, but you know what had happened? When I believed it would happen. It's strange, isn't it? You don't have to be in it for years before that happens. Just make up your mind that's the way it's going to be. And you want to, when you talk, I mean, you want to let them know that you really provide phenomenal service.
This next question is from Greta. She says, I live in Parkland, Florida, where the mass school shooting was 1 month ago. Can you provide a text to read or make a suggestion on what I can say when I see the parents and family of the deceased? Last night, after leaving one family's home, I drove away in tears. I'm particularly interested in your suggestion since I began studying with you in December. Whoops, Bob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I was talking to myself. Okay, so this question is from Greta, and she says, oh, you did, okay.
Yeah. You know, if you're talking to someone, I've had friends that have lost someone, members of family that lost people, and you make it clear that the physical is gone. That is really the loss. But the soul never dies. And all science and all theology teach us nothing is created or destroyed. That just postulates the theory of life. And they've moved on to the next phase of their eternal journey. And as terrible as it is, there's something good about it. We may never find out what's good about it, but there is something good about everything. There has to be. Any more than you couldn't have an in without an out or an up without a down. You can't have anything that's all bad. There's something good about it. Now, it's only natural there's going to be grief. And grief comes in waves. At first, the waves are big. And they're frequent. The waves get smaller and they get further apart. Nothing will replace what they've lost. But if we really start to understand life, we'll understand that nothing is created or destroyed. Really isn't. And I think you just have to have a fair amount of empathy and give them love. It's going to hurt for quite a while there. It's an energy that's around there that'll a lot of grief for a long time, especially with children, goodness. But it's true with everybody. I once heard someone say that if you have a little dog and the dog gets killed, you feel really lost. You feel so bad. And it'd be the same as a child. It's something that you connected with, and all of a sudden they're taken. And one can cause as much grief as another. But we don't want to let the grief control us. We've got to control it. Okay.
This next question is from Shirley. How can I strengthen my perception intellect so that I look at situations and life in general from a different approach?
Very easily. Take and write out whatever you're looking at on a piece of paper and put it in the center of a table and sit and look at it. Then go sit on the other side of the table. And you sit and look at it there for a little while. And ask yourself, how would Bob Proctor look at this? Then go sit somewhere else and say, how would Earl Nightingale look at this? Then you go somewhere else and sit and say, how would Sandy Gallagher look at this? And think of different people. How would they think and how would they see this? And if you think that way, you'll get into their energy and you'll start to see how they see it. Everybody sees things differently. That's what perception is about. It's a point of view. I do that frequently with situations. Next one there, Lisa.
This next question is from Andrea. I'm a public servant by employment. How do I get comfortable with getting clients as a new TIR consultant?
How do you get comfortable with it? Well, just do it. Write the affirmation and read it. Carry it around. Read it 1,000 times a day. I'm so happy and grateful now that I can help people recognize that there is a better way to live and that there is a strategy that they can follow to create life in abundance. And repeat it over and over again, and then you'll see yourself that way. That's how I see me. Like, I think I can help anybody. I honestly do. I believe I can help anyone. Well, you can too. You don't have to be at this for 50 years to help somebody. You just have to know that you've got quality product, quality information, and say, you know, if you start paying attention to this, everything in your life will shift. We got time for one more there if you got one.
I do. Let's use this as our last question from Carolyn. She says, I know I have to be careful when I visualize, to be careful not to manipulate other people. How do I help someone who is in a dangerous way, but with whom I am not in a position to teach or help them raise their awareness?
Read that again.
I know I have to be careful when I visualize, to be careful not to manipulate other people. How do I help someone who is in a dangerous way, but with whom I am not in a position to teach or help them raise their awareness?
Oh, you just got an image of that person being the way you think they would like to be. That's how you see them. You don't let their present situation control how you see them. That's all you can do. Like, I find out what a person wants, and then I hold an image of them having what they want. And it just seems to happen. You're working with universal energy that works through everything. Spirit's a phenomenal power. And everything is spirit. So you're a spiritual being. You've got this great creative ability. Do you know, I think the most difficult thing for a person to really grasp with Lead the Field is the repetition of listening to the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I did it when I started because I'd never heard a person talk like Earl Nightingale talked. I never heard a person ever in my life talk the way he did. I was so fascinated with it, I couldn't stop playing the records. In fact, I'm still fascinated with it. I'm absolutely fascinated with it. Logic would dictate that you've listened to it a couple of times, that's enough, get on with life. But that doesn't change paradigms. Now, you got to do things that are totally illogical if you really want this to work. But make up your mind, you're going to make it work. These are phenomenal programs. I mean, they just contain so much power and potential. And it'll draw the best out of you. But it's repetition that's required. But we've got it laid out in such a way that for 10 days, you just work on the one recording, the one message. Then you move on to the next one. And you listen to it twice a day, morning and night. I guarantee in 120 days, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be living in a different world. And everybody's going to notice how you've changed. It's repetition. Lisa, you've done a great job.
Well, thank you, Bob, and so have you.
You always do a good job. You always do a good job. You know, I knew Lisa when she worked at another company. And the other company went out of business. And I said, wow, get her. We've got to get that woman.
I think our story is unique, Bob, because you were the #1 person on my list that I had put that I wanted to go work for.
Well, we were on the same frequency then. I love working with you, Lisa. You're very pleasant. You have a nice personality. You have nice work habits. And you're a good person. You're a good mother, good wife. And you're a great person to work with. I enjoy it. So I want to thank you for doing a good job today. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Study this program. It has more power than you'll ever even guess it has. It's life-changing. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.